हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज का हमारा चैप्टर है टिश्यू। इस चैप्टर को हम दो पार्ट में कंप्लीट करेंगे। पार्ट 1 में हम देखेंगे प्लांट टिश्यू, पार्ट 2 में हम देखेंगे एनिमल टिश्यू। लेट्स सी प्लांट टिश्यू। टिश्यू, the group of cells which have specific structure, position and function are called as tissue। जिनको स्पेसिफिक स्ट्रक्चर है, पोजीशन है और उनका फंक्शन स्पेसिफिक है। द ग्रुप ऑफ सेल विच हैव स्पेसिफिक स्ट्रक्चर, पोजीशन एंड फंक्शन आर कॉल्ड एज अ टिश्यू। प्लांट टिश्यूज may be classified into two broad groups. One, meristematic tissue, another permanent tissue. Plant tissues are mainly divided into two groups, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue, the group of living cells. Cells कैसे है? Living. The group of living cells with ability to divide. It means they can divide into two new cells. Is ability to divide into new cells is called as meristematic tissue. इस तरह के टिश्यू जो लिविंग है and they have ability to divide and form new cells is called as the meristematic tissue. Characteristics of meristematic tissue. These cells are similar in structure, having thin and elastic cell wall made up from cellulose. Meristematic tissues कैसे होते हैं? Similar to each other. They have a thin and elastic cell wall and this cell wall is made up from cellulose. अब ये जो टिश्यूज होते हैं, they have large prominent nucleus and they possesses dense cytoplasm. न्यूक्लियस होता है with dense cytoplasm. These tissues do not have intercellular space. It means these cells are compactly arranged. There is no intercellular space. So these cells are compactly arranged. These cells are rounded, polygonal, rectangular or oval shape. The protoplasm of meristematic cells have small vacuoles or vacuoles may not be present. If vacuoles are present, they are small in size. The cells have ability to divide. Meristematic tissues are living, so they can divide into new cells. This characteristic is known as the ability to divide. So these meristematic tissues have ability to divide and form new cells. Types of meristematic tissues. The meristematic tissues are found in growth region of the plant. Growth region, it means that is the stem of the plant and root of the plant. They are a growing part of the plant. So meristematic tissues are found in growth region of the plant. On the basis of region in which they are found, meristematic tissues are classified into three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. These are the three types of meristematic tissues on the basis of region in which they are found. Location of meristematic tissue. See this diagram. At the tip of the root and stem, apical meristem is present. This is the position of intercalary meristem and this is the position of lateral meristem. All these are the meristematic tissues. Let's see apical meristem. This is the tip of the root and stem where the apical meristems are found. These tissues are located at growing apices of main and lateral shoot, roots and leaves. ये कहाँ मिलते हैं? Growing apices of root, shoot and leaves. These type of the tissues are responsible for growth of plant organs. Elongation of shoot occurs due to shoot apical meristem, and elongation of root occurs due to root apical meristem. Elongation of root and stem increases in the height of plant. Elongation होने से क्या होता है? Increase in the height of plant. This is called as a primary growth. Increase in the height of plant due to the apical meristem. This type of growth is known as a primary growth. Another type of meristem is a lateral meristem. The diameter or girth of the plant organ increase. That is, shoot and root increases due to the lateral meristem. Diameter of the shoot and root increases due to the lateral meristem. The increase in the girth of root and stem is called as a secondary growth. Increase in the height is called as a primary growth. Increase in the diameter of shoot and root is known as a secondary growth. Secondary growth occurs due to lateral meristem. The intercalary meristem, where they are situated? They are situated between region of permanent tissue. Permanent tissues का जो भी region होता है उसके अंदर. It means it is usually found at the base of nodes and internodes or at the base of leaf. Leaf base, at the base of nodes and internodes. These intercalary meristems are found. The leaves and internode increases in length due to the intercalary meristem. लीव्स की लेंथ बढ़ना या इंटरनोड्स की हाइट बढ़ना ये होता है ड्यू टू द इंटरकैलरी मेरिस्टेम. अनदर टाइप ऑफ टिश्यू इज अ परमानेंट टिश्यू. किसको कहते हैं परमानेंट टिश्यू? देयर पोजीशन इज परमानेंट and they lose their ability to divide. This type of tissues are known as the permanent tissues. The group of cells formed by meristematic tissues which are fixed at a permanent position and have lost the ability to divide in plant body are called as a permanent tissue. Characteristics of permanent tissues. They consist of mature cell having a definite shape, size and functions. So these permanent tissues have definite shape, size and function. The cells do not possess the ability to divide. इनके अंदर cell division ability नहीं होती है. They do not divide and form new cells. They may be living, vacuolated cells with cytoplasm and thin wall, or dead cells, it means without cytoplasm and thick wall. The thickening of cell wall may be regular or irregular. It means some cells are living, some cells are non-living. It means dead cells. If living, they have vacuoles and thin cell wall. If they are dead, without cytoplasm and their cell walls are thick. The permanent tissues are further divided into two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. These are two types of permanent tissues. Let's see simple permanent tissues. These tissues are also known as the supportive permanent tissue. ये टिश्यूज किस तरह के होते हैं? They are similar in shape, their origin is common and their function is also common. This type of tissues are known as a simple permanent tissue. The tissues which are made up of similar cells having common origin and functions are called as simple permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissues are mainly divided into three types: parenchyma tissues, Collenchyma tissues, and Sclerenchyma tissues. These are the three types of simple permanent tissues. Parenchyma tissue. What are the characteristics of parenchyma tissue? It is the most simplest living primitive tissue found in plants. They may be oval-shaped, cylindrical, isodiametric, rectangular, or long spindle-like. What is meant by isodiametric? Isodiametric, it means equally expand on all scales. So these are the simple living tissues. These are primitive tissues. Their shapes are oval shaped, cylindrical, isodiametric, rectangular, and long spindle-like. Parenchyma tissues have intercellular space. See this diagram? These cells are loosely packed. So it means there is a space between two neighboring cells. So these cells are loosely packed. It means parenchyma tissues have intercellular space. Cell wall is thin and made up of cellulose and calcium pectate. सेल वॉल किस तरह का होता है? थीन होता है और सेल वॉल बनता है फ्रॉम सेलुलोज एंड कैल्शियम पेक्टेट. सेलुलोज एंड कैल्शियम पेक्टेट से सेल वॉल बनता है. दिस इज थीन and there is the intercellular space between these tissues. Cells are living and each cell consists of prominent nucleus, vacuolated cytoplasm and large central vacuole. एक तो ये living होते हैं, they have prominent nucleus, vacuoles are present in the cytoplasm and these are large inside. So these are the parenchyma tissues. Types of parenchyma tissues. 1. Storage parenchyma. These are enlarged to store food and water. Storage parenchyma का काम क्या है? Storage of food and water. These are enlarged and store food and water. Another type of parenchyma tissue is erenchyma. It means it has large air cavities found in aquatic plants. These air cavities help this plant to float on water. Third, Chlorenchyma tissues. It means they have chlorophyll pigment. They can synthesize their food by photosynthesis process. So these are the three types of parenchyma tissues. Function of storage parenchyma: to store food and water. Erenchyma, they have air cavities. These tissues are found in aquatic plant. And Chlorenchyma, they have chlorophylls. They are able for photosynthesis process. They can make their own food. Occurrence of parenchyma tissues. These tissues are distributed in different plant organs like root, leaves, flowers, stem and fruits. They are found in root, leaves, flower, stem and fruit. It is occur in soft part of the plant like mesophyll of leaves, cortex of root, pulp of fruits, endosperm of seed and xylem and phloem tissues. In this part, the parenchyma tissues are found. Functions of parenchyma tissues. Assimilation and storage of reserve food like starch, fats and proteins. Storage of starch, fats and protein. It provides framework for all plant organs and tissues like cortex, pit, mesophyll of leaf and floral part of the plant. They provide framework. It stores waste products like gum, resins, tannin, crystals and inorganic waste. That type of materials are also stored in parenchyma tissue, and it performs all metabolic activities which are vital for plant life. So these metabolic activities performed by parenchyma tissue: storage of waste product, storage of synthesized food like starch, fats and proteins, and mainly provides framework for all plant parts. Sclerenchyma performs photosynthesis because they have chloroplast, so they are able to make their own food. The intercellular space of parenchyma cells allow gaseous exchange, जिसकी वजह से gaseous exchange possible होता है because of the intercellular space of parenchyma tissue. Parenchyma gives buoyancy to the aquatic plant, जिसकी वजह से they easily float on water, they can grow on water surface. It serves to maintain the shape of the plant due to its turgid cells. These cells are turgid, so it helps to maintain the shape of the plant. So these are the functions of parenchyma tissue. Another type of tissue is the collenchyma tissue. See this diagram, they have a cell wall, nucleus, vacuole. First diagram is the longitudinal section of stem, and another diagram is the transverse section of stem. So these collenchyma tissues are living tissues. These are elongated, irregularly thickened at the corner. elongated होते हैं and corner पे कैसे होते हैं? thick होते हैं. They have very little intercellular space compared with parenchyma tissues. Parenchyma tissues, they have intercellular space, but for collenchyma tissues, they have very little intercellular space. कहाँ पे मिलते हैं collenchyma tissues? They found below leaf stalk, leaf midribs, petiole of the leaf of the dicot stem. They are found petiole of the leaf, leaf stalk and leaf midrib. These are usually absent in monocot plant. They are only present in dicot plant. What is the function of collenchyma tissue? It provides mechanical support, elasticity and tensile strength to the part in plant body. Elasticity, it means when they bend, do not break, and strength to the part of plant body. Plants can easily bend without breaking due to presence of collenchyma tissue. It means these collenchyma tissues provide elasticity to plant, so they do not break. It can manufacture sugar. Collenchyma का function है manufacturing sugar by photosynthesis only if it consists of chloroplast. अगर इसके अंदर क्लोरोप्लास्ट है तो ही photosynthesis होगा. Mainly it synthesize sugar. It manufacture sugar. It is present at leaf margin and resists the tearing effect of wind. Being alive, it also stores food. Collenchyma, like parenchyma, store the food material. These tissues are present at the leaf margin and resist the tearing effect of wind. They manufacture sugar by photosynthesis process. Third type of tissue is the sclerenchyma tissue. See the structure of sclerenchyma tissue. These cell walls are thick-walled. They have simple peat pairs. It means sclerenchyma tissues are dead tissues. What are the characteristics of these tissues? It consists of dead cells. इनके अंदर जो cells होते हैं, these are dead, thick walled with narrow lumen. Cell wall is very thick and at the end these are narrow. The cell wall is extremely thick because of uniform deposition of lignin. Lignin work like a cement. So due to the deposition of lignin, the cell walls become very thick and hard. These cells are closely packed. It means there is no intercellular space. There is a lack of intercellular space. इनके अंदर intercellular space नहीं होता है. कहाँ मिलते हैं sclerenchyma tissues? These tissues are found in stem, around the vascular bundle, in the veins of leaves, and in the hard covering of seeds and nuts. What is the function of sclerenchyma tissues? These are dead, so they give mechanical support and rigidity to various parts of the plants. इनका main function है gives mechanical support and rigidity to the various parts of plants. It makes protective covering around the seeds and nuts. So this covering is hard because of the presence of sclerenchyma tissues. The sclerenchyma fibers of plants like flax, hemp, and jute have a commercial value. That is, this type of the plants are specially used to make rope. These are the functions of sclerenchyma tissue. Protective plant tissue. Protective plant tissues, it means the plant organs are protected with the special type of tissues. These tissues are known as the protective tissues. Protective tissues are of two types. These are epidermis and cork. These tissues perform functions to protect the parts of plants. First, epidermis. See these are the tissues. At the upper side of the epidermis, there is a thick layer of the cells. This thick layer is known as a cuticle, and the cell walls of the epidermis are thick in size, so they help to protect the different parts of the plants. These epidermis are outermost layer of the plant parts. For example, outermost layer of leaves, stem, flowers, and root. These are the parts of plants and their outermost layer is made up from epidermis. These are usually single layered. ये एक ही लेयर से बने होते हैं, but they protect the parts of the plant. The surface of the epidermal cell is covered with a thick cuticle. It also helps to protect the outer layer of the plant body. Due to the secretion of cutin, this thick layered waxy waterproof layer is formed. This is the cuticle. Epidermis also contains minute pores called as the stomata. Where the stomata are found, we already learned in the previous chapter. At the lower surface of the leaf, there are many small pores are present. These small pores are known as the stomata. So these small pores are present on the epidermis. These small pores are known as the stomata. A pair of specialized epidermal cells called guard cells enclose each stomata. Stomata के around एक पेयर होती है cells की, उसको हम कहते हैं guard cells. These guard cells help to open the stomata and close stomata. Stomata open in the presence of light and closed in the absence of light. Guard cells are kidney shaped. It is found in dicot, and dumbbell shaped. It is found in monocot, and these cells also contain chloroplast. Dumbbell-shaped guard cells are present in monocot plant and kidney-shaped guard cells are present in dicot plant. Stomata allow gases exchange to occur during photosynthesis and respiration. We know carbon dioxide is required for the photosynthesis for making food. Functions of epidermis. It provides protection to the plant and prevent the cell from damage and infection. This is the main function of epidermis because this is the outer covering of the parts of the plant. First important function is the protection of the plant and another important function to prevent damage and infection of the different part of the plant. It prevents loss of water by evaporation. It helps to prevent the loss of water. It helps in exchange of gases through the stomata. It absorbs water and minerals with the help of root hairs. So epidermis are present on root hairs also. So they absorb water and minerals. Another protective tissue is the cork. When the plant grows older, the epidermis undergoes certain changes. A strip of secondary meristem replaces the epidermis of the stem. Cells on the outer side are cut off from this layer and this forms several layer thick cork. It is also known as the bark of the tree. The tissues are present in the bark of the tree or cork of the tree are older tissues. These are dead tissues. Cells of the cork are dead and compactly arranged. It means there is no intercellular space. They also have chemical suberin in their walls that marks them impervious to gases and water. Is a complex permanent tissue. This group of cells have one or more type of cells. They have common origin and they work together as a unit to perform same function. This type of tissues are known as a complex permanent tissue. It means one or more types of cells are present in this tissue. Complex permanent tissues are mainly classified into two types, that is xylem tissue and phloem tissue. See, this is the transverse section of stem. These are the xylem tissues and phloem tissues. The complex tissues are mostly related with the transportation of water, minerals, nutrients, food and organic solute. So these tissues are also known as the vascular tissues. Vascular tissues perform transportation function. Transportation of water, minerals, nutrients, food and organic solutes. So these are the two types of complex permanent tissues, xylem and phloem. Xylem tissues. The word xylem is derived from Greek word that is xylos. इसका मीनिंग होता है wood. So xylem tissues are also known as wood. ये कहाँ पे होते हैं? In vascular plants. It is responsible for conduction of water and inorganic solute from root to aerial part. They transport water and inorganic solutes from root to the aerial part of plant body. It is known as a conduction process. The tissues are made up of four kinds of cells. Xylem tissue चार अलग अलग टाइप के सेल्स से बने होते हैं. These are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. These are the four type of cells present in the xylem tissue. Let's see tracheids. ये इस तरह से होते हैं. इनके लिए टेपरिंग एंड होता है. Tracheids are elongated, tubular, and these cells are dead with tapering end. So tracheids are elongated, tubular, dead cells with tapering ends. The wall of the tracheids are thick and hard due to the deposition of lignin. So this type of wall is known as lignified wall. They conduct water and give mechanical support to the cell. Main function of conduction of water carried out through the tracheids, and another function, they give mechanical support to the cell. Tracheids are placed one above the other and form long row of cells. So these are the tracheids. These are elongated, tubular, dead cells, tapering end. These are thick and hard because of the lignin present in the cell wall, and their main function to conduct water and give mechanical support to the plant body. And they form long row of the cells. Vessels. So these are the vessels. These cells are placed one upon the other and form tube-like structure. इससे क्या बनता है? ट्यूब बनता है because these cells are placed one upon other. Vessels are mainly found in angiospermic plant but absent in gymnospermic plant. They are only found in angiosperm and absent in gymnosperm. They mainly conduct water and minerals. So conduction of water and minerals, this is the function of vessels. Xylem parenchyma, this is the third type of cell present in the xylem tissues. These cells are living, thin-walled, and main function to store food and help in the conduction of water. Xylem fibers. These cells are long, narrow, tapering Sclerenchyma cells with lignified cell wall. They have thick cell wall and narrow lumen. They provide mechanical support to the body. So these are long, narrow, tapering Sclerenchyma cells. This cell wall is made up from lignin. This cell wall is thick, narrow, and they provide mechanical support to the body. Phloem tissue. The word phloem is derived from the Greek word phlois. इसका मीनिंग होता है बार्क. Xylem का मीनिंग था वुड. Phloem का मीनिंग होता है बार्क, इनर बार्क. It is also called living conducting tissues. These are conducting tissues and these are living. It is useful in translocation of organic food products from green and storage organ of the plant to the other organ. Food synthesized in the green part of the plant and it is stored in the storage organ. So plant transport this synthesized food material to the different part of the plant with the help of phloem tissue. So phloem tissues translocate the organic food material to the different part of the plant body. It consists of 4 types of cells. These are sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. These are the 4 cells present in the phloem tissue. First, sieve tube. See this diagram? This is the structure of sieve tube, phloem parenchyma, companion cells. These cells are thin-walled, elongated, and placed one above the other, so they form tube-like structure. Thin-walled, elongated, and they place one above the other, जिसकी वजह से tube-like structure बनता है. This tube-like structure help for the conduction of food material. The end wall of the sieve tube cells are perforated, are called sieve plates. Companion cells. Companion cells control the activity of sieve tube. Companion cells are living associated with the sieve tube, and these cells are thin-walled with a dense cytoplasm and large elongated nucleus. Dense cytoplasm, large elongated nucleus, and these are living associated with sieve tubes. They are only found in angiospermic plant. These are absent in gymnospermic plant. Third, phloem parenchyma. These are thin-walled and living cells. Phloem fibers. These are dead, thick-walled, elongated, spindle-shaped. They provide mechanical strength to the plant. So these are the different type of plant tissues. In next part, we will discuss about animal tissue.